Hey everyone, Adam here, and I thought today would be a great day to go over some Kaldheim Limited. The set has been fully spoiled now, so we have a complete look, and there are websites that offer building seal decks and drafts. Draft Sim, there's others. Now that the spoiler's out, these are already up. We can already start practicing and I guess even play if we build the decks on third-party program, which there are alternatives to Magic Online and Magic Arena. There's some free programs where you can actually play with the cards. So there's opportunities to start preparing immediately if you want to get a leg up on the competition. So let's do that. So first, I want to go over the spoiler and just review the cards and just talk about them and just kind of get an idea of what the cards are going to see and what's going on in the set. So I guess we could just start with white. Let's go through the colors. So first card, X Guard Braggart, Boast ability, which is on cards of, I believe, all color or multiple colors. I'm not sure. When the creature attacks, you can activate the ability. So it's very aggressive. It's like tempo ability in the sense that if you can get ahead, Boast can help you stay there. It's going to be better when you're ahead. Some of them maybe help you come back from behind, but it's a mana sink as well. Some of them make value. Pretty much all of them are some sort of value. So, or some sort of interaction. So it's a good ability. Like these are the hallmark of great limited creatures and really just great creatures in Magic are cards that are good through the game. So like 2-drops that are good on turn 2, but then that can grow later or have value late in the game are the premium cards. So there's all kind of cards that are good when you don't have mana to boast and are great, become great when you do. So like, these cards are all upside, and some of them are going to be really powerful, and they're all relatively, more powerful than anything without boast. So like this Braggart, 4 mana 3/3. Well, it's not really a good card. But look at that ability. That's for all purposes. Like for all purposes, this is in any sort of aggressive deck. This is a 4 mana 4/4, right? Vigilance in a way. And then it can just keep growing. 5/5, 6/6. Like what? There's like if you think back to Khans of Tarkir, the Abzan ability, their creatures tapped to add counters. You could tap the creature to add counters so they could grow. These don't have to tap and grow. So like this card is awesome. This is like an uncommon, right? This card could have been rare 15, 20 years ago. So this is a common. And it's in white, which I mean, this, feels almost more like a green creature. This card seems awesome, but it's all relative, right? If there's tons of other really great stuff, then maybe I'm sure this is probably a relatively average card. That's kind of wild. So first immediate, just seeing one card, my first analysis is this is power creep, right? Like commons, these cards are power creep. Cards are powerful. So one thing that I think of when that happens is our life total doesn't change. In 1993 to now, whatever set, it's always been 20 life. So when creatures hit harder and cards are more threatening, it becomes more aggressive and faster because your life total just gets eaten up really quickly. This Braggart will kill you on its own in like 4 attacks. It's wild. So the Warrior, this is both an Anthem effect. So it's not permanent. Like the fact that this is permanent is great, but this pumps all your creatures. And 3 mana 2/2. So the body's a little better. I guess 3-mana 2/2, 4-mana 3/3 are both kind of similar, but this is cheap. It's an uncommon. So another thing to look for in limited if you're reviewing cards for the first time, like early in the set, or you're open a pack and you don't know what to pick. Err towards the uncommons, err towards the rares, especially uncommons. Especially uncommons, because uncommons are just like, they're just better than commons. And when they made the set, some of them may have been commons or they were designed to be uncommons. I don't know. Depends on each card. The point is they're literally too good to be common. If they could be common, could be some weak cases where like it's just a weird card or complex cards. Maybe it's an uncommon, but like really sets are designed like for limited. In that sense, like the uncommons at least. Like when you see mythics, that could be like a chase mythic, and mythicness isn't necessarily the best card in limited, although they tend to be sometimes mythics because it is really powerful. And there could be weird rares sometimes. Like being a rare is great, but maybe it's not necessarily rare because it's the best thing. Maybe they just wanted a rare. I don't know. Point is, take uncommons over commons. That's a very good rule. Then here, 1/1. I mean, so 1/1 flyers are a thing in Magic, and this one's a 1/2 first strike. Like that's power creep. Not only is it a 1/2, it has first strike. God, this is one of the best 1-drop flyers ever of this type. Like this is like a class of card. He's like 1 power white flyers for 1. This one's a good one. Put counters on this or something. Toughness is nice. Shield Mate, 2-mana 2/1. And when it dies, you create a token. This card's been in formats through the past. Very similar. And this card is a solid card, right? It's a 2-drop that has value. It's a good card. And sacrifice strategies, rush strategies, like with this warrior, you can make sure you have tokens to pump. This is a good common, not a first pick or second pick or third pick, hopefully, but like middle of the pack or after the lap. This is a bread and butter of a deck. Make cards like this work. This Raptor, have to see the context of who knows what's going on in the set. Maybe having a super good. If you want to have a ton of creatures on a rush deck, then this could be great. But generally, a card like this is not good, not great. It could be playable, but it's more of an enabler for other good cards or for a strategy. So it's more contextual. We'll have to see. Bound in Gold. This is Chant permanent can attack or block or crew, and activated abilities can't be played. So this is like an arrest. It's like a pacifism, but also stops the abilities. And it stops vehicles, which is a new thing. So at 3 mana, so that's a power creep. At 3 mana, like arrest is 3 mana, but this one is 3 mana plus it can't crew. So this is power creep. It's also a common. Back in the day, arrest was an uncommon, but there's been cards like this. Pacifism. Generally, this white effect, Nahiri's Binding in the last set, is a staple of white decks and solid removal. And this card is just top common, probably one of the better commons in the set. Maybe I suspect that maybe it's really fast and 3 mana. It's a little bit slower than like a red, shock or something. But top card. I mean, I would assume the best white common, but maybe not. Maybe it's more of like second or third best, depending if there's something even really, really great, but top card for sure. Sealed deck, fantastic. This card I think is construct playable. This card is nuts, right? 2 mana 2/2, and then you can create flying tokens. Second spell is not necessarily easy, but if you have a rush deck, you can play this on turn 2, and then turn 3, play a 2-drop and a Raptor, and then get the warrior going, rush. So some sort of white aggro. Spirit's good value. But also is good in more mid-range or controlling deck, just value through the game, blue-white or something. It's each turn, so instance theory would trigger it too. On the opponent's turn. 1/1 vigilance. This is another one like the Raptor, but look, if you cast second spell, Wow, when it enters the battlefield, if it was a second spell, it's a 2/2. So that's kind of like there's been like some past cards that are kind of like that. I can't think of the mechanic. So this is kind of sweet, right? Like you can already see the makings of a deck. Like maybe you play some 14 land, super aggro, ton of 1-drops, curve ends at 3 type deck. Curve ends at Bound and Gold and Warrior. So yeah, this again in normal, probably not a great card, not a good card, but in the right deck, like when you're building a synergy, the limited deck is more like a constructed deck. Cards like this could be a complete role player. You start playing 1 mana 2/2s and the opponent gets wrecked. Here, this is weird. You exile something, but then they can put a card from their hand into play. So like, it's funny, funny. I go off talking about how uncommons are great, but then this makes me think like they just wanted to print a weird card for constructed. It's almost like you use it in like Commander or something, like help someone out, like give them a show and tell. I don't know. I'm kind of afraid to cast this unlimited unless your opponent was out of spells. So yeah, I don't know what to think of that. Maybe it plays out better. It's hyper aggro and you can remove super problem things. But yeah, this kind of fails my uncommon test. I don't think this card is good. Maybe it doesn't even seem playable. Obviously, Doomscar Bomb, like probably one of the better cards in the format. Wrath of Gods are just always nuts. Of course, it works really bad with all the white stuff we've seen so far, but that generally doesn't really matter. You can set a board stall and then sweep, or maybe not play stuff, and or maybe just build a more mid-range deck. Here's another 2-spell card. So seems like, of course, now this one isn't very aggressive. I guess I see. So Foretell is good with these because Foretell makes things cheaper, and then you can easily play it with 2 things. Sorry, I tried to mute that, but I failed. Giant Ox, 2 mana 06. I mean, here's a wall, so you can build a control deck with this, and maybe it's good with the right vehicles. And then rares, I don't want to talk too much about rares. You're just going to assume they're all pretty. If they look, like a decent card, they're probably pretty good. Like 4 mana 3/4 flash flying. Like that's already a sick limited card. If that was a 4 mana 3/4 flash flying, that's great. And now what does it do? You may exile any number of non-angel creatures you control. So it can save your stuff. It's a really weird restoration angel. So the 3/4 flash flying, like this is a weird, certainly worse than restoration angel. But that card was broken. So this is nuts. It has Foretell too, so you can put it away and then have it cheap. This card seems pretty bad. Maybe there's Foretell strategies where this is maybe in the more controlling deck. Maybe this works out if this body's good, but not a great limited card. This is a different kind of boast where it's not value, it's the interaction. But look at it. It's a 3 mana 2/3, which is not great, but playable. But it taps something. It's basically a tapper. And historically in limited, things that tap, they can repeatedly. White creatures that can repeatedly tap opponent's creatures are at a premium. Whether it was original tappers, like 2 mana 1/2s, that would you'd pay a white mana to tap something. Forgot what it's called. Through things like Dominaria, the 3/2, where you cast a if you cast an artifact or a legendary, historic, is it called? Then you could tap something, or like Waxmane Baku and Champions of or Betrayers of Kamigawa. Every time you cast a Spirit Arcane, which is the ability or mechanic in that set, you put a counter on it, and then you could like unload the counters to tap stuff. And then this one is its own weird, it's like a tapper, kind of more like the original tappers, but it attacks to do it. There's actually other cards like this. They typically are like uncommon, like 4 mana 3/3. That when you attack, you tap something. That's like been like 2 white cards, like 2 sets. I swear that card was around. So yeah, that's like that. That's basically what this is. But it's in a common, not an uncommon. Maybe there was one that was a common core set. I don't remember. But yeah, this seems sweet. You have the option to tap, and like your other creatures attack with it. You're essentially always neutralizing their best blocker. You just have to be on the offensive. If you're on the defensive, this card doesn't do anything. But if you're offensive, this card is the kind of card that feels oppressive and the opponent just can't beat. Where you get 2 of these together and like their board just doesn't matter. It just makes it hard to block. It's just a good card. I don't even want to talk about, I don't even really like any of these mythic. Guess we'll have to see the front half. Oh, it's up here. Any of these I assume are just insane. Creatures you control that are equipped have double strike. You attach stuff for free, but probably with this card even better, unless you already have equipment. You just play the equipment. Gives plus power and vigilance, and when it dies, it comes back. Like, I mean, good luck beating this if you don't remove it, right? Disenchant sideboard card. This is cool. Cards like this are good limit removal. This is more of a this is defensive, so this would go with like the Ox and the Guardian and white control. But decent, not great removal, but it's okay. And Foretell makes it better. The fact that it's only 1 to Foretell is pretty cool. It's nice to have locked away. This is a sweet pump spell. Double strike and plus power is pretty decent, and you can foretell it. So as long as you can use a foretell and double spell with it and stuff, it's uncommon. This card probably plays out pretty well. It's named after the Planeswalker, so that's like another clue. I mean, it's something, right? It's named after a Planeswalker. Actually, that was an old thing they actually would say in Magic, like the shortest, most like punchy, snappiest names are for the best cards. Like if you think about counter spells, like Remand and stuff, or Eliminate, their new black removal spell, like those type of things, then anything Planeswalker oriented, you know, is going to be they're putting those on the best cards. A Braid, that's another example. It's like anything that's 1 word, that's like constructed playable. This is cool. It's expensive. This is more control value, but I mean, it's value. If you can exile a creature card in your graveyard, which is pretty easy to do, and the creature in your graveyard has no value, you get to return something. Whether or not you have artifacts or enchantments to return is another story, but assuming you do, this could, in theory, this is a pretty good card, but you have to have the right deck. Probably pretty sweet and sealed. Rally the Ranks, probably pretty bad. Probably pretty impossible to have a real. Well, no, I guess maybe, I don't know what the tribes are. Maybe you have like red, white dwarfs. I guess if you have like a dwarf deck, this could be good. I think it's dwarfs. Maybe warriors. There's a lot of warriors. Maybe there's warriors in other colors. Potentially, but I would want like a lot of creatures of that type. A lot. To play it an investment of a card and mana. But if you do have that, this would be very good. This is weird. It's a 3 mana 2/3 Flying Vigilance. So that's just a good card. 3-mana 2/2 flyers are like the baseline. So this is better by toughness. It has Vigilance. If your opponent happens to be playing Snowlands, which I guess people will be. And it also has this other ability. Like, this is a nice hoser. Oh, it has a whole other half too. Whoa! The source opponent controls would deal damage to you. Prevent it. This is great in like against like other white aggro decks probably. And it stops spells. Yeah, this is sweet. Probably not using it as this half very often. You're probably playing it, but options are nice. Yeah, this card is nice. Is nice. Just a 3-mana 3/3 flyer with an ability that might come up. Probably not even that easy to set up in limited, but it will be good. When you have to exile a creature from your graveyard, and then other creatures you control that type. So maybe, you know, in dwarves or something, you get dwarf. Then it's awesome. Revitalize, maybe the control. If there's a white control deck, this would be good. Or if there's life gain synergy, but I haven't seen any. Another rare, flying 2/4, 3-mana 2/4 flyer. That's above curve, but you play that every time, and you can gain life from it. So, if you happen to have 27 life, you get double Anthem. So there's Revitalize. Runes are interesting. New cycle of cards in each color. They draw a card, so they get rid of the usual downside of enchantment, creature enchantments. So as long as they don't get removed, the creature doesn't get removed in response, you get their value. But to make it even better, you can enchant equipments. So this is like a new I guess, oh, you could actually enchant anything. So you could actually cycle them on lands. So I didn't even realize that. So that's another upside. But you put it on equipment, which probably isn't getting destroyed, and then you definitely get your value. But then you still get to do something with it. So you put on a creature, and you get the ability, or you put on equipment, and then bestows that ability. So ideally, you put it on an equipment, and that's the best case scenario. And you just have a super equipment. It's really cool, actually. Probably pretty strong. And they make equipment better to be playing in the first place. I mean, so equipment in general just have more value because then you could ruin them up. So you want access to them. But this seems great. Like all of them seem good. I don't know if they're like a first pick card. Maybe they could end up being probably more like early middle type pickups. Maybe some of them are worse than others too. Lifelink is pretty strong ability in limited. So yeah, I like this card. And the Runeforge Champion is nuts. I mean, you search for a rune, you play it, search for a rune, and you can just get value. A lot of good value, and you can actually splash any rune with this, which probably you don't want to do, but you can. At least it makes whatever one you get. If you find the white one, it still costs 1, so that's cool. Tutors like this are pretty slow, pretty awkward. If you had a lot of targets, or a few targets at least, and at least one really, really bomb target, you have like some real bombs, then you could run it. Shepherd, so uncommon, expensive flyer, but it creates value. Wow, you turn something from your graveyard. And it has foretell, so it has ability to be cheaper. So the 6 mana can happen quicker. So yeah, that's just a good card. Sealed really good. And Sigurd, that's a nice one. It's just a rare, right? Flash First Strike, that's a cool ability. And it can exile creatures. Like, yeah, this card is nuts. Spectral Steel. This is cool. So a creature can get pumped for 2 mana for 2 power and toughness. So that's been a card before. And in hyper aggressive decks, this can be good. So you slap that on one of them 1-drops, like the 1/2 flyer or 1/1 vigilance. Pretty good shape. Depends on what the removal's like too, how much removal there is and bounce and stuff. But then it comes with another ability. You exile from your graveyard, return another or equipment. So it reanimates another one. So you have runes and stuff to get back. Yeah, this card is cool because it can replace itself. So this is a good card. It's uncommon for a reason. Probably a pretty playable card if you have some other enchantments. This is weird, but this is probably awesome because you just trade all this early white stuff and you have something in the graveyard, and then something costs 2 mana, 3/2 flyer. Yeah, this card's sweet. Deceptively great. In worst case, it's a 4 mana 3/2, which is a Snapping Drake, which is a solid 4 mana 3 power flyers are a solid limited card typically. So not bad. Ooh, this is a nice one. 3 mana 2/2 flyer. So that's like the base flying creature. And depends on the format how good they are, but probably pretty good. So this could be nice in a deck with a lot of stuff to make cheaper. Probably ultimately probably not. Well, actually no, it probably is actually ultimately pretty strong because there's so many equipment and artifact you can build around in the right deck. Yeah, and like Bound in Gold is it, or yeah, it's probably pretty great. This card's insane. Just make a flyer or a bunch of flyers. 2/2 lifelink, nice. Put two power on that. Equip this thing. Heck of a card to equip. Dwarf, so yeah, centerpiece of any dwarf equipment deck. Usher the Fallen, love this. This is a different type of boast value. You make a token. I mean, if white decks are about creature rushes, you have a 1 mana 2/1. Like this card's constructed playable, right? Like 1 mana 2/1 with a sick ability. Can be great in any aggressive white deck. And look at this. So it's equipment, and it's pretty good. 2 mana for the play. 3 mana equips a little much, but it gives +2/+1, so it's pretty good bonus. And the fact that you can pay 7 for it to make a 4/4. Real good and sealed. Probably playable in draft. I don't know. Have to see how the games play out, but probably, I mean, definitely playable at least, and probably pretty good. This is cool. This is another like cheap spell. You can pump stuff. You can trigger a double spell, and it gets value when it dies. So, ooh, nice. So for any white rush strategy in all kind of limited formats, the instant speed +2/+1 effect is always Inspire Charge is always key, or the red +2/+0 Trumpet Blast, Borehorn Blast here. So yeah, unfortunately it costs 5, which is a mana or 2 more than would be nice, but it does have Foretell, so maybe you can make it work ahead of time. I guess it's not a card you want to cast too early anyway, so maybe you just, as you're building your board, well, I guess the best decks you'd cast it on maybe turn 4 and kill the opponent. You can curve out. This, you're going to maybe 1-drop, and then turn 2 2 drops. Maybe maybe you use it like turn 3 or 4, foretell it, and then you can cast it the next turn, maybe throw another trick with it. Wing of the Cosmos is probably pretty weak. Only 1 power. Gives flying, but probably not great. But it is a trick. And it's cheap. 1 mana play for 2 double spells, so it could be alright. And giving flying can help finish off the game. And the rest are doubles, and these are from the special deck. So this card's pretty wild. It gives +1 for each card in your hand and for told. So if you have a couple cards in your hand, it's not a bad effect. Not horrible. Like, you're not really playing it for the body. Like, it might be a 4/4, 3/3. It could also easily be small. Hard to make it really big. But then look at the second ability. It basically draws cards. So it keeps itself big. It makes card advantage. So that's good. It's a mythic. And it can also be an aggressive thing that scries. So it's a sweet mythic. Yeah, another sick mythic time walk that makes tokens and foretells. Annul, good sideboard card. Maybe you made it one of them. Counters equipment and all these auras, so probably better than normal. But still, it's not like it's a mirrored in where there's a ton of artifacts and it's going to have a ton of targets. Rare that pumps. Like, this is basically a Hex Drinker, Figure of Destiny. It's going to be a limited bomb. The problem with it is the snow. But just have to draft Snowlands highly and make it work. That's the thing. If you're playing with snow, you have to draft Snowlands. But with 1 in every pack, it shouldn't be too hard to make it happen. This card's sick. I saw Ryan Sachs. He thought this card was going to be really good. He writes for Star City, and he has good limited content. It's all he does is limited. Foretell it turn 2, play it turn 3, play it turn 4 with something. Again, the downs. I mean, the floor is just a 4 mana 3/3 flying. So, and this Avalanche Caller seems nuts. 2 mana 1/3, so that's fine. Then it can make a Snowland of 4/4 hexproof. I mean, for only 2 mana, you make a 4/4. Basically 3 because you're investing the land for the turn, but it's like pretty good. It's pretty good defensively. You just make 4/4s. It's good offensively too. Get the body. Uncommon. Behold the Multiverse. That's good. It's classic scry draw plus foretell. Bergstrider, tap an artifact. When it enters a play, you tap something. If snow, it's tapped for 2 turns. So you really need snow to make it good. But with snow, it's a pretty nice effect. It's like a chilling grasp from the recent set. There's cards like this, but like that one cycles. This one you get a 4/4. So that's definitely a nice, probably real nice. This card's actually probably just real nice. I remember in RTR there was Void Walker, 5 mana 1/4, bounce something. So you bounce it instead of tapping it, which is obviously much better. But this you get 4 power. So like you're adding to them. Instead of Void Walker, you add a defensive thing, but it's not a real threat. This you have a threat. So tempoing, stay ahead, push the opponent while they're down. This kind of card that just closes out the game. Huh. Wow, Bind the Monster. Look at this. Very similar to the kicker one, the Bubble Snare. Bubble Snare, the creature could hit you, And then you could tap it down, or you could theoretically preemptively play it, and then they would have to use it as a blocker or attack you once. This is like the same thing. 1 mana, you tap it, and then it damages you. So it's like it hit you. It's a little cleaner. You just don't have the option of casting it for 4. So it's worse in that sense, but it's much better offensively because you just do it for 1 mana, and if you're aggressive and your left hold doesn't matter, this card is insane. This card's like this card's pauper playable. This card seems constructed playable. It's one of the best blue removals. Oh, never mind. Enchanted creature. Okay, I was thinking it had to be. You can enchant any creature, not just an enchanted creature. The creature enchants. Yeah, wow, what a card. Obviously not the best in control, but if you have like revitalizes, maybe life gain, like I guess 1 mana removal, it really is good in control. Kill their early plays. You have to manage your life. It kind of has very, very similar to the black card, Feed the Swarm, where kill a creature and lose life. Very cool. And look, another card that's like in Great and White double spell decks. This card is nuts in that, and of course so is this. Just like the Brown Cutthroat, or not Brown Cutthroat, Zulaport Cutthroat. But you get a 1/2 body. Wow. Kazuma. 3 mana, 2/4. Whenever you may exile it on your upkeep, and then if you play a land, you may put a voyage counter on it. If you don't return to the battlefield with X counters and you draw X cards. Wow, so you can draw cards with it. This card's sick. And the Omen Keel is awesome too. That gets lands. This card's just really good. Constructed playable. People are talking. Cosmos Charger, 4 mana, 3/3 flash flying. Done. It's a fine limited card. In the 5 mana, 3/3 in the last format wasn't great. But this is cheaper. But then, of course, it makes Foretell cheaper. It has Foretell. Goes from being a solid playable to actively great card. Summoners are very expensive. If you're in a controlling deck, maybe it works. Better in sealed deck. But good effect, right? Bounce everything, and if you have giants and stuff, you leave them play, and it only bounces opponent stuff mostly. You crush them. Oh, here's a bounce. Here's Earn the Royal. Fortunately, can't kick it, draw a card, so it's not as good, but 2 mana on summons usually aren't the best card. Limited, but if you're being real aggressive or just need some interaction, have tons of card advantage or something, probably playable. And there's Foretell stuff going on, but this is inefficient Foretell because you pay 2 to Foretell, but then another one to cast it, so it's kind of a weird one. Disdainful Stroke's cool. A lot of good cheap stuff, but good expensive stuff too. Just have to be careful how you use it. Board card. Oh, this is cool. You just look at your top card and scry, but you can also hit them and reverse scry, Fate Seal them. I love Fate Seal Effect. I love Lurking Informant. I love Jace. I love Portent. It's like a ponder that can hit them. Yeah, this card is cool. It's like not a great card, but it's 3 mana, 3/2, 3 power, 3 power blue creature is cool. It's aggressive and it's a good ability. Block the opponent out, help you out. It's a solid role player that fills the deck. Kind of like the white 2 mana, 2/1. When the creature dies, you get a token. Frostalkers. You need a lot of snow cards, but I mean, 1 mana that taps a draw card for 1 mana. Like, this card is nuts. Definitely constructed, playable in the right deck. That's sweet. Yeah, he's pretty good actually. Unblockable creatures are just good. And it's no synergy, not a bomb or anything, but probably pretty playable if you're being aggressive, which is important, or have snow synergy like Augur. This Arcanist is nuts. Anything that creates value in limited is great. So as long as you can draft multiples of a spell, which is a lot easier these days. Like, it's not like we're drafting a full block. It's just one set. Hey, Derek, how's it going? Just going over the spoiler here. I'm in blue now, so second color. If you want to go back and check out the white, I'll have the video up right after. Yeah, Arcanist, you just get some doubles of a spell and get some value. Even better if you have a wizard. It's a good one. This amulet's cool. Hexproof isn't the best ability. It's okay. You're not really playing it for. Oh, it's only conditional hexproof. It has to be on tap. You're not playing it ever really for 1 mana. Maybe you play it on turn 1 and then you can cast a relic on it to make it better. That's actually cool. But ideally, you just cast this for 5 mana. It's a 5 mana. It's basically air elemental. 3 blue, air elemental. And then if it dies, you get an equip. I guess it can't die right when you play it. So this seems great. Top 3 cards, 1 in your hand, rest on the bottom. For 2 mana. So that's pretty solid. Pretty solid card. But then you have another ability. As long as you have a giant, you might cast it from the graveyard. Wow. So it has like flashback if you have a giant. So that's great. Decent, but if you have giant, it's amazing. This is sweet. Just Jace's Ingenuity, it's 5 mana, draw 3, but then you get to scry as well. So this is pretty strong. It's a rare. Ooh, and this Icebind Pillar is sweet. Icy Manipulator for real. Like a play on the icy. Can't tap lands, but
how strong do you think the icy's going to be?
Honestly, probably really good. Icy Manipulator effects in limited are typically, I guess in my experience playing like core set with them, they're like bombs basically, because it's just
okay.
So it's like they're so cheap to use. You get to just constantly. It's like a removal spell that always hits their best thing, and it is an investment. But once it gets going, it's also like cool. You can be aggressive with it. You could say, okay, I don't have an attack. I could tap one thing, but no, pass. End of their turn, tap something, untap on your turn, tap something else. So it can almost be 2 removal spells in 1. Yeah. So it's something you can actually neutralize 2 things aggressively.
Yeah.
And it seems like from white, white seems very aggressive, and blue has like 3 power. 3 power 3 drop. It has an unblockable 3 power 3 drop unblockable thing, and this Berg Strider taps something. This is like icy on a creature. So yeah, honestly, like the pillar could. I don't know if it's worth if you commit to snow. There's a snow land in every pack, so you probably get a lot of snow lands. The pillar seems like the kind of card you would first pick an icy. So this, I wouldn't be surprised if this is first pick, or at least in like the first maybe 4th picks, or you get this.
So the thing I'm seeing about Kaldheim
What's that?
Yeah, I think that's how Kaldheim. Like it seems like it's gonna be like a really strong control and strong aggro set.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Like it looks like white had like a lot of aggressive stuff, but also some like controlling stuff. And blue's kind of the same thing. There's like a lot of card draw and like bigger
Yeah.
stuff, but then there's also a lot of cheap, like this intruder and a lot of aggressive stuff.
Yeah. Also, I'm kind of excited for is it Giants? Like just seeing like a lot of what they have to offer. Like I think it might be a really strong
Yeah,
pool.
yeah, wouldn't be surprised because it seems like there's a lot of synergy in this set. Like you want to be doing synergy, you want to be drafting themes, and Giants. Yeah, Giants have like these are both awesome. They're all it's like just really powerful stuff. Yeah,
So what do you
definitely.
think is the best color so far?
I'm gonna have to finish looking at them. I've looked over all of it, but not super detailed from a limited standpoint. Uh, I don't know. I'm gonna have to see. Right now blue looks good. White's nice because you have this cheap removal, pretty aggressive. But yeah, right now blue. I'd say blue, but let's look at the other. I wouldn't be surprised if it's red or
Honestly, red
black.
looked hit and miss to me. Like you have to get like the special rares kind of thing.
Yeah,
Is
that's
how
definitely
red
don't.
looked to me.
You definitely don't want. Oh yeah, here's an example of the controlling and like this huge like upheaval, one-sided upheaval, and it's giant. So by that is it? Maybe is it Giants is
Yeah.
more controlling. Yeah, Giants almost seems a little more like spell based. Yeah, the Arcanist here.
Mm. Yeah, it's almost like a flashy spellslinger deck where it's like you have like spellslingers, but then you have like just big dumb giants just hitting you for like that last little bit of damage or keeping you at bay. So like I'm thinking, is it or blue white's gonna be our best control shells? Soul Tie seems like has a really strong reanimator theme.
Okay, yeah, I agree with the blue white. Blue white looks like it could be control. Red, red maybe even be better because you have the giant synergy.
Yeah,
Probably is much better. Kraken, yeah. I mean, the rares just assume like pretty good in this. Expensive
yeah.
might be hard to make it really cheap in limited, but if
I
you
don't know. Like it depends on how often you come along Snowlands
yeah,
and
because you just take them
the
aggressively.
packs. Exactly. You pick that Leviathan or like the Kraken, like pack one, pick one, and then you just go hard in snow, and like that's almost all you need to do. Then you just go and like to hard control elements, and then just have them as the late game finisher.
Yeah, it's power. It's powerful.
Yeah, and if somehow you can like land Narfi or was it Jorn, the Soul Tie guy? Like I think he's like Simic with a Demir Flash backside artifact. But I mean, like just the synergies that a lot of these decks are going. Like for limited, it might be a little bit harder just because you're going to go almost strictly into a tribal format. Like it's what you want to do. So if you think about a limited standpoint, everything's going to be considered by standalone concept, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
more vacuum based.
yeah. That's what I was saying a minute ago. Like with this Arcanist, you can get doubles. You can get triples easily. Just the vacuum. There's not drafting with other sets. Inga's cool, kind of interesting card. Scrying's nice, and then if you can set up, it's like pretty good defensively. So yeah, that's kind of a cool card. This is interesting. It's cheap. It's blue man acceleration. So in a control shell, this could be pretty nice. It accelerates you with foretell. Oh, or instant sorcery. Yeah, this is nice. Shapeshifter. So shapeshifter. This is like probably secretly a giant, right? If you want an extra giant, put this in your deck.
Yeah. Are you looking at that targeted shapeshifter? Was it the rare or mythic?
The Ken Seeker.
Yeah, like where like the rarest or mythic? I can't look at it right now.
Oh,
Wherever
okay.
that shapeshifter is like anytime you can target one of your creatures,
I see it
they
now.
make the copy.
Yep.
Yeah, that thing is ridiculous.
Yeah, these mythics look nuts. All these mythics have looked insane for limited. Whenever you cast instant or sorcery that targets it, you copy those permanents. And if they happen to make you discard this, you get to target. You get to copy something. This this miss -3. Oh, you can put it on equipment. And it just basically ruins the equipment by making the creature get -3/-0. That's cool. Or you can put it on a creature to shrink its power. Mistwalker, 3 mana, 1/4 changeling that can plus power. Oh, you can activate it multiple times. It's 2 mana to activate, but you can theoretically pump 6 mana into it and hit it for 4. So that's kind of cool. Kind of a cool controlling card. Also, it's a changeling, so put it in your giant deck.
You know, like the best part is if you pair it off with the blue rune, the one in the blue gives it flying, I believe. Then you just go right over, and not to mention like
Oh, nice.
Spells.
Rune of Flight. Yeah.
Like, it might be a more like an equipment based like Bockley style deck.
Rune of Flight seems great.
But yeah. Like the runes are definitely limited. Like
seem awesome. Lifelink's great, flying's great.
Yeah, the runes are pretty good. Like, and then like the red one gives you haste. I think the green one gives you trample, and the black one gives you death touch.
Okay, death touch is nice. Trample could be good actually. I've gained a lot of respect for trample lately. It's hard to put on the right creature. Yeah. Mystic Reflection is kind of cool. Mystic Reflection, you can put it on a good creature and then play something good, or when they play a creature, you can just target something bad. So this card is sweet. You can just use it in multiple ways. Pilfering Hawk, snow 1/2 for 2, flying. And it's a looter. Wow, it's a looter. Snow looter. Looters are great. Pilfering Hawk's great. Hell of a controlling card.
Yeah.
Probably good. Like probably good in Giants.
No, actually, not maybe as good as you think. Like the looter would definitely be the best for the Sultai reanimator deck.
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess Giants are not taking snow, so you're right.
Yeah,
definitely. Oh wow. Yeah, I'm excited to see that. This Raven form is cool. Exile artifact or creature. They get a bird, but it's blue removal. So people are saying this card broke the color pie.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
probably anything that breaks the color pie, probably decent. Plus it's foretell as well.
It doesn't really break the color pie. Like we've had like Ponga Pie.
Yeah, I don't think it's too wild.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Frogify in a way. Like you just
right. Oh, right. Oh no, it's exactly. It's exactly that. Yeah, this is basically blue, but they've almost like just like.
Well, it's kind of how red got the counter spell. Like they break their color pie like in elements, right? And they always get some kind of drawback. Drawbacks to the creature. So
this reflection is sweet if you can draft Reflection of Lichara. If you can draft tribal deck. I mean, like imagine casting this with the Giants.
Mm-hmm. And, unfortunately, I can't really read too much right now.
Yeah, but that's cool. I'll have the. Yeah, I mean, if you have any thoughts.
Yeah, I'm predicting with Kaldheim, like in limited, we're gonna have a lot of grindy games. Like, there's so much utility in the set.
Right.
Like,
and a lot of card advantage to keep things going.
Yeah, and like you get a god, then it's just bonkers. I think there's like 2 blue gods. There's one that it's like Voyage or something like that, and it's kind of a weird piece if you really look at it, because like it removes itself like from the game, then like every land you play, it adds like a counter. And I believe when it comes in, like however many counters you got on it, you draw cards.
Just looked at that. Yeah, Kazuma. Yeah, that card's busted. That card's constructed playable. Anything, any of these gods look like limited bombs because they're 2 cards in one, and they're just.
Yeah, I think the one that looks the weakest to me is Arlen.
Which one's that?
Like I can't remember. Like his effect seemed kind of loose to me. He's
check it out.
Yeah, he's a mono blue god.
Oh, Alrund. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Probably really bomby and sealed. I mean, if any control deck, it's good because it's card advantage. But I guess it's not guaranteed card advantage. But you could just name land or something. It's probably decent. But yeah, Haka isn't too great. Yeah, it's not as good as like the ones that become equipment. Run ashore, 6 mana. You put a permanent on top or bottom. So that's like straight up removal. We put it on the bottom. Oh, wow, you get to kill something and bounce something. It's expensive, but that's a heck of a spell. Saw it coming, counterspell with Foretell, that's solid. Strategic planning is okay. Undersea Invader, 6 mana, 5/6 flash, but it's tapped. Cool with like counterspells and instant card draw, and it's a giant.
Yeah. So I mean, like, control's gonna be pretty heavy, and like I think if you play like even like mono blue giants, that's very viable. Because like red's for like that explosive crunch, like as far as like the giants go. But like I'm really liking the flavor of how they set up, like the tribes. And, like they can be standalone, like by a mono color if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'm in black. Okay. Looking at black now, and there's berserkers. This Blood Sky Berserker is nuts. If you cast your second spell, put 2 counters on it. Like, what the heck? That's pretty nasty.
The Blood Sky?
Yeah.
The Demon Berserker. Like if
he's constructed playable.
Exactly. And if you run him and you run like a Reanimator style deck, then you just drew 2 cards. Is how it happened. Like the value on there, and there's a black card in there. Gives all your spells foretell. So I can see almost like even like an Esper list coming out of this. So like you're just casting all these
Devour,
yeah, that guy.
Death Knell Berserker, 2 mana, 2/2. If you have it equipped or increased power, get a token when it dies. That's okay. I don't know how many things can pump power, like demonic gifts, a trick. Creature gets +2, and when it dies, it returns to the battlefield under its owner's control. That's pretty good and real aggressive. So that's an aggressive type card. It seems like very aggressive so far, every color. Dogged Pursuit.
I believe we have like a new deadweight in format too. Like it's like a deadweight-ish effect.
Oh, okay.
It's like -3, -3. That's like it's a really cheap card.
There's a -3, -0 in blue.
Yeah.
That can hit it can hit equipments and basically destroy them by removing 3 toughness or 3 power. Dogged Pursuit. Beginning of your end step, each opponent drains 1. I mean, we saw drain 1 is pretty decent in Return to Ravnica or whatever.
You definitely want to play like a slower deck for that.
Yeah, grinds out. At the same time, though, it's kind of cool and like a aggressively slanted. Like a zombie.
They can. It's like Stormfist Crusader saw a lot of play, especially in limited. Like when Thorum Eldraine came out. But the drain effect would be pretty good, but you don't get that draw value. It's just a drain for 1, right?
Exactly.
So
you have to get some turns for it. Wow, Dogger Recruiter, 4 mana, 3/3 boast. You return something from your graveyard to your hand. All these boast cards are good. That card.
I've got boast.
This is awesome.
How does that work again? Is that a main phase ability or like kind of like a raid ability?
It's when you attack. Oh, only if it attacks. So it's anytime from beginning of combat to second main. basically.
Okay. So it's pretty much raid, but raid
Yeah.
doesn't care about if you attacked. Both just says if you are going to attack. Okay.
If it attacked this turn. So
Yeah.
as long as it's
Okay,
tapped.
both just raid.
Pretty much. But you have to pay mana. Draugr's Helm, whenever the 2 mana creature gets +2/+2 in menace, but it's 4 to equip, so it's pretty awkward. But if you pay 5 mana, it becomes a 2/2 zombie, so you get a 4/4 menace for 5. So that seems pretty good. I think all these uncommon ones are pretty good. Dread Rider, 6 mana, 3/7. You can exile creature cards to drain the opponent. So that's a control card. So every, like you said, every color seems like it has control elements too. So this kind of looks cool. Dusk Wielder, 1 mana, 1/2 with Boast, drain 1. So that's hitting him for 2 and gaining you a life. That's a nice aggressive. Also Berserker. God.
Yeah, Berserkers and Angels are your black cards.
Okay.
And then like your Reanimators are just onesies and twosies of the color. Like it's like the black sub-theme is a Reanimator. But Egon, like did you see him?
Yep, that's next. 3 mana, 6/6. You can remove 2 cards. So hard to remove 2 in limited.
Kinda.
I guess if you have tons of mill. Throne of Death, you mill yourself, and then you can exile creature cards from your graveyard. That's really Throne of Death seems better on Egan. You use a throne to just as a card advantage engine.
Yeah, maybe
Probably a cool sealed. Yeah, cool sealed. Elder Fang Disciple enters a battlefield. Each opponent discards a card. It's playable. Eradicator Valkyrie is nuts. Feed the Serpent, 4 mana removal. That's solid. Grim Darger, that's a very solid snow card. 3 mana, 3/2 that can pump and get menace. So use it once and just menace in for 4, or you can like use it late game and get a bunch of power. Hailstorm Valkyrie, 4 mana, 2/2. Flying Trample. And it can pump for 2 snow. So if you have a lot of snow, wow.
Yeah, snow's looking pretty potent. Like it might actually see standard play.
Yeah, I think it might. I think it will. In standard, you can play all the snow lands you want, so you just get to play it. You just get to play this stuff. Whenever you play your second spell each turn, you put a counter on the pet and it gains flying. So that's like a common, worse version of the 2 mana uncommon one, but that's solid. Crows, play an very aggressive deck. Maybe black white double spell. Seems like the archetype.
There's a Haunted Voyage, the eerie ultimatum of tribal creatures.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. I don't. In the right limited deck, could be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be a build around card.
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah. Probably not much. Probably not great in the average deck. Jarl of the Forsaken, 3/2 flash. Destroys a creature planeswalker that was dealt damage. That's a classic black limited card. It's solid. It's not great. Fathom Fleet Cutthroat. Pretty solid actually, because you attack with cheap stuff and then it's almost like a Necrotal-ish. It's okay.
And something of note is we do have poison back in the format.
Is there really?
Yeah, there's only one card that does it. It's green, and it says all your creatures that have Death Touch hit for poison.
Oh, I didn't see that.
You haven't got to green yet, but
Carfel Kennelmaster. 2 creatures get +1 indestructible. Oh wow, that's aggressive. That's cool. Coma's Faithful, 3 mana, 3/1 lifelink, and it mills. That's cool. Not great, but decent card. If you want Reanimator effects and you want to mill, then it becomes a good card. Poison the Cup. Destroy a creature, and you can scry if you foretold. That's real solid. Priest of the Haunted Edge. Whoa. Oh, you have to sack it. So it's a wall, and then it can become removable if you have snowlands. Still real solid card. It's almost like a terror. That's sweet. Raise the
And
draw.
something of note, though, we
Yeah.
also but we have elves in this format too, and they're playing green and black. Like they didn't really look super strong to me, but I'd like to hear your input on that.
Yeah, that seems like you need a lot of the rares. That's more for constructed. Probably not so good in limited.
Yeah.
But I think it's more of like you just go for the synergy. You go for the travel when you can, and then you can take advantage of cards like Raise the Draugr. You can return 2 of the same creature type.
Yeah.
And that
I feel
becomes
like
good if you have travel.
yeah, Kaldheim is a little too tribal focused, I think. So like I think the trap that you're gonna find in most games when you're drafting is you're gonna get caught in who gets the better tribal cards.
Yeah,
So
that can suck.
I think you're better off going off of like a pack one, pick one mentality.
Right. Yeah, going all in. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. The best decks are going to have awesome synergies and be sick. So you almost need to take more risks in deck building, because if you have an average deck, is going to be worse than a different format. The average decks are going to lose to those great decks. Want to go for the 3.
Yeah. So what I was kind of looking at is I think what you're going to have to do more times than not is you're going to have to, like I said, judge off of your first pick. And so you have to find if you're going to be a tribal or you're going to be like some kind of control format or like a high aggro. Like you have to pick sooner than later.
Yeah, was it the first? By the time you're in the wheel, once you have 8 picks, then like that's pretty much at that point you've seen you've got impact from the whole thing. Like at that point you need to know. But yeah, ideally even sooner. Return upon the tide there's a reanimation plus value, so that's solid. Especially if you can set it up with a big creature. The Shadow Sage is sweet if you're in elves. Or berserkers, so it's flexible. Skull Raid discard, that's not very good. Oh, if fewer than 2 cards were discarded, you draw to the difference. Cool. So that's probably decent and sealed.
Yeah. Decent, not like a spectacular. That's probably like a late game pick.
Yeah, draft probably not really gonna play it.
I mean, I might be willing to, but like I said, like it'd be like a late wheel pick.
Turgid,
if it's better.
Turgid is nuts. Turgid Shadow is really Turgid is insane. You just kill them. Turgid Shadow. Each player sacks 2 creatures. That's pretty solid. Valky's really good if you can cast it for red black. Varragoth, you can tutor with boast. Yeah, it's death touch and you can boast. You can boast a tutor every turn. What the heck? That's insane. Vengeful Reaper, flying death touch haste for 4. A lot of 4-mana flyers. A lot of flyers.
Yeah.
Flying death touch haste.
That was the one that's our direct competition with Rankle. So, and Rankle, especially in a limited format, sees plenty of utility. So I think he's going to be one of your definite grabs earlier rather than later.
Yeah, that's the rare one. Yeah, I'm looking at uncommon one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Village right, sack a creature, draw 2. That's good.
I think that's gonna be more of like a.
Oh, way down. Yeah, here's a dead weight. You exile a creature from your graveyard, so you have to reanimate.
Yeah.
Ooh, and Wither Crown, destroy creature has base power 0, so it's good at killing big dumb creatures.
Yeah. So something of note that I've kind of noticed through our talk just now, Dimir Flyers is probably be your aggro deck.
Right.
It has a lot of good removal, a lot of control elements. Make them sacrifice, make them discard, make them pin them down. So you might have a good tempo deck in Dimir. and like I think Demir was naturally casted to be the Reanimator deck, as far as like the 10 tribes of Kaldheim. But I think you can find better homes in its tempo shell.
In red, you get Arnie. That's cool. 3/3 haste plus boast. X-Guard Cavalry. That's a nice one. 2 mana, 2/2 with that tap to give haste instead of being a dinky 1/1 or like the 0/3 wall. It's just a 2/2. This card's actively awesome. The Salt Ravager is starting to see like the wizards or the giants. X damage to target any target where X is the greatest number of creatures you control that type. So at least you deal 1. And that alone makes it good. 4 mana 2/2, and it can deal much more. Burgery is sweet. Breakneck Berserker, 3 mana 3/2 haste. That's a solid aggressive card. Calamity Bearer is nuts, obviously rare. Cinderheart Giant, 7 mana 7/6. So if you're in a giant deck, this could be a role player, kind of like the blue one. It's a control card, but at the same time, it's aggressive because of the damage. So it's a giant card. I guess you can survive in the late game. In Giants is hammering with stuff like this. Craven Hulk is cool. 4 mana 4/4. It's like very aggressive as well.
I feel like if you're gonna make Giants successful, is you have to have a lot of early game interaction.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you can start laying these bombs.
Absolutely. Yeah. So in that sense, it is like the control deck, which you noted. It's like spell control. Take all the removal. You can get here you go. Crush the Weak. It's Pyroclasm. That's like so important to Giants.
Yes, sir.
Demon Bolt, same thing. 4 average to creature or planeswalker and foretell it. So this is a cool one. Anything that you can foretell where the total cost is the same, and it basically spreads the cost up. It's strictly a benefit. It's just these foretell cards are always better than I haven't really talked too much about it. It's hard to say without having played with them, but you know that it's just going to play well. It's going to help you have smooth draws. There's going to be cool information guessing games. You have to know all the tricks and stuff. You have to know what they could foretell. It's going to be cool. Almost like kind of like a morph a little bit. A lot like a morph, actually.
Yeah, but it's like instant speed morph in a way.
Yeah,
because some of them do play instant speed.
Yeah. It's cool. Doomscar Titan. Yeah, it's an instant, Doomscar Titan, 6 mana 4/4, and your creatures get +1 haste. Oh, so it gets haste. It's a 6 mana 5/4. Plus foretell. Yeah, that's solid. Dragonkin Berserker.
I know that black creature that gives everything foretell. Something to be of note. If it actually is everything, like instants and everything, you can play instant speed foretell on everything. And just play your deck at a much cheaper rate. So just like, okay, I'll foretell for my turn, play land, go. Then you just set them up for failure. Because I don't know if you're naturally playing foretell or if you're playing covert foretell with that creature card. Just something of note. Just little cute little tricks you can do in the Kaldheim Limited.
Dual Strike. When you cast a cheap spell, 4 or less, copy it. Interesting. Doesn't seem too good. Dwarven Hammer. That's a nice one. 5 mana, 5/1 trample, or get the equipment. Is a nice equipment. All these uncommon equipment cycle that makes a token are good. Dwarven Reinforcements is cool. 4 mana, get tokens. So you get your powers, kind of like a 4 mana 4/2, but spread out. You can use it. You can equip them each. It's a good dwarf card. Fearless Liberator I like a lot. 2 mana 2/1 with upside. Can create tokens. Fearless Pup is like a double spell, real aggressive type card. Its boast ability is just to hit real hard, and you're hitting for 3. It's basically a 3 mana, basically a 3/1 first strike. So like it's really hard to block. I hit them for 1 a lot.
Something to note, Boros equipment is going to be the other archetype.
Dwarf. More of deck Frenzy Raider. When you activate a boast, it gets +1/+1 counter. So that's really nice. All these 2-mana creatures that can get bigger upside. This card is kind of broken, actually. Frostbite, it's a shock, so that's always rate limited. If you have snow, it becomes a bolt. So only hits creatures or planeswalkers, but good removal. Goldspend Dragon Bomb, Hagi Mob, kind of a cool boast. It's like a pinger plus a big body. Kills jump blockers, which is cool. Hammerstrom Raider is cool. It's like a Goblin Wizard. You get to loot. Magda. And Derek, I ended up muting you because there was a lot of noise. So if you wanted to say something, unmute it. It's not letting me unmute you. Open the Omen Pass. Ooh, you get, so this is your Trumpet Blast. It's unfortunately just 1. But you get to add 4 mana. So I guess it can ramp you 1 mana and fix your mana towards creatures and enchantments. Too bad it's not equipment, too. Provoke the Trolls, 4 mana, deal 3 damage. Or you can pump your own creature by 5 damage. It's like this is a cool giant spell. Finish him off in a 5-point punch or removal. Quickbringer is insane and limited. Right? I guess it's not that great. It's okay. Doesn't hit their creatures, just their opponent. Oh, but if it's in the graveyard, so this just keeps killing them. Yeah, that's sweet. Reckless Crew is cool if you have a lot of enchantments and art equipment. Run Amok is just a nice pump spell. Ooh, +1 own haste rune. That's cool. Seize the Spoils is good in Giants. Fixing. Spell type deck.
Oh, so Adam, something I noticed is Boast. Like, I feel like you're kind of talking up a little too much. I feel like Boast is gonna kind of naturally hold itself back. Like it's almost like you can only play 1 creature, wait for something to happen, then Boast, and then hopefully play like another spell. I think Boast might be a weaker archetype than we're hoping.
Post?
Yeah.
Yeah, Post seems pretty great.
It seems great. It's just, I feel like it holds your tempo back so much. I think it might be more of a detriment.
Well, a lot of them you get some value back. It's also good. It's more like also a mana sink in the late game when you don't have other things.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to do with your late game for sure. So I think if we're gonna make a Boast deck, you're gonna have to put like a lot of supporting. You get something or you don't. I think there's actually something that does reduce the Boast cost, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, gross.
So
oh, here's a nice giant
like,
spell. It's only 2 mana if you have a giant. Yeah, I think Boast is what it is. It's just upside on creatures, and it's just a nice thing to have. Some of them are better than others. And the key is just not using it when it's a detriment. It'll be tough to use because there's decisions. So like, don't. Important to know when you want to. The ones that make like tokens, those ones help you keep your tempo. So those ones seem great. But yeah, knowing when to use it, like the white one that taps. But yeah, they're all pretty strong. Tormentor's Helm, that's a cheap equipment. Oh, that's nice. This is like Tiwu's old card, the Kopesh, Honed Kopesh. It's in red only, and it has a secondary ability that hits them for damage. And that seems sweet. So here's a Boast, Tusky Firewalker, 3 mana, 3/2. Exile the top card, you may play it. So that's awesome. You just have to make sure to only use it when you can play, but you can even play lands. That's actually crazy. This is blue card draw. This is actually this is like the Ophidian effects. There's been like the black one where if it tapped and you paid a life and you drew a card, or whatever, any of the blue ones. This is like in red. This is kind of like the rogue in the current set, the 2/3 rogue. Where if you hit them, you get to exile the top card. So that's cool. Vault robber.
Yeah, that card looks freaking nuts.
Treasure token. Seems okay. That's kind of I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. 2 mana 1/3, so it's a decent body. If you care about treasures, it gets good. Green
The treasure deck actually seems pretty busted in a way.
What do you do with it in limited?
I think to be said about
What do you do with treasure in limited?
what's up?
What do you do with treasure in limited?
You're gonna want like big bomb dragons and such. There's that one that produces, and it's more of like a red tutor.
Yeah,
So
those are all rare.
It's a sack and a lot of value.
Yeah, that doesn't as a rare.
But like you could also, but red treasures. If you just play like that, you have easy ways of splashing other colors.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's a good point.
So I would think of red
accelerating
like your ultimate. Exactly. Like you could loosely put it into there. It's really good to fix instead of like late game bombs and such. So I wouldn't use it so much as a treasures deck, as in just more of like a
control value. Yeah, arachniform.
Exactly.
I'm curious to see how aggressive green is. So +2/+2 for 2. So it's just kind of typically see that in red or white. So it's I guess it's been in green too, oaken form stuff. But Blessing of Frost, Blizzard Brawl. Target creature you control. It's a snow fight. You get indestructible and plus power if you get snow. Otherwise, it's just a fight. But so it's a 1 mana fight though. Boreal Outrider is insanely good. Constructed playable. Elderly Fermenter. That's solid. You get a body and another body. Elven Bow. Oh, the green version of that cycle. It's only 1 mana. You get +1/+2 in reach, and then if you pay 3, you get a 2/3. So that's okay. That's not too exciting. Oh, but there are a lot of flyers, right? So like the reach is better than it seems. These rare. Oh, there's War Master's nuts. Asika is nuts. Asika's Chariot is nuts. Finn the Fangbearer. Poison. Whenever creature you control with Death Touch, so it basically has poison and it helps other things. That's cool. I mean, 2 poison is a lot. And it's a Death Touch, so that just gets the job done because it's hard to block. So it hits them 5 times, they die, so they kind of have to trade. Glittering Frost, it's mana fixing, it's slow though. Recluse, 4/2 reach, wow. So it hits hard or just blocks a big flyer. So we know that the Recluse is pretty good because of all these dangerous flyers. 5 mana 5/5, that's fine. 2 mana Changeling, it's a 2/2 Changeling, that's a good role player. Horizon Seeker, here's a boast. Search your library for a basic land, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle. So that you convert mana to cards. Good aggressive card. Yeah, I like this boast one a lot. Just have to know when to use it and when not to. Ice-Hide Troll gets indestructible until end of turn. +2 and +0. Oh, and it taps. That doesn't really matter. That's a good card. If you have snow, this card's nuts. Kind of like the Root Walla. Jaspara. This In Search of Greatness, probably don't want to play limited. Jaspara Sentinel. Fixing and acceleration, not great, but it's okay. Jorn is cool, especially if you can play the blue-black sides. Actually, it's probably better. King Harold's Revenge. That's a cool card. It's a lure. They have to block it, and it pluses for each creature. So it's also a lot of pump power, and it's trample. So this is awesome. This could be a ton of damage. It could be removal. It could be both. Just build a wide board. This kind of tells you what green's about. Let's go wide. Make your tokens. Another changeling. 4 mana 3/3. Exile a creature and put 2 counters on it. Only if you could cast a sorcery. Oh, a target creature. Wow. This card is nuts. You just grow your team. That's really, really strong. Really, really strong. Mammoth Growth is cool. It's big pump for kind of low mana. I guess it's a lot of mana. It's for Talva. It's going to help. This Mass Vandal is like kills artifacts and enchantments. That's cool because it kills equipment. Path of the World Tree. Search for land. It's okay. You can flash it back. Oh, you sack it. I see. That's cool. If you have all 5 colors. It's a nice value. Lindworm, 6 mana, 6 gain 4. I like that. 5 mana, 4/4. Rootless Hue. If it dies, you search for a creature toughness 6 or greater and put it in your hand. That's awesome. Mill 3 cards, return a land or elf from the graveyard. You can't draw a card. That's okay if you want to mill. That's like green-black Reanimator. This card's good. Green-black elf Reanimator. Rune of Might, +1/+1 trample. Love it. This one gives +1/+1. So there, yeah, the green one's great. Because the other ones give you like keywords. This one actually gives you power. Ooh, Saros Packmate. 4 mana, 3/3, draw a card. I like that. And it has Foretell. Sculpt of Winter and Snow is very good. That card's in a class of its own. Like, not a ton of great mana acceleration in the set. Snake, or typically limited, a green card like this, common, is very good. Trick, Spirit of Algergard. Search for a snowland. Awesome. And it gets pumped for each snow. Fortunately, every snow permanent, each other snow. So this card's strong. It's fixing as well, which is really nice. Another fight card. You can pump 1 creature and another one fights. And this is a very interesting one because Foretell makes it cheaper. Anything that's actually made cheaper by Foretell, it's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so something I've noticed, greens can hold most of your elves and shapeshifters.
Yeah, a lot of shapeshifters.
Go. Yeah. But one thing I've noticed the most in a limited environment, as long as you have like the right mana filtration, like the sky's the limit as far as like what your color combinations want.
Yeah, it seems like green is really can be flexible. You can cast 5 color stuff. Agar and Giant. This is like perfect giant card. It's a cheap giant. Your burn hits some more. Your big things push over, and then really, I don't want to talk too much detail about all these sagas, but like all the sagas are just great if you're in those colors. Like there's not too much else to be said.
Also be said, the sagas I would honestly want to pull last more times than not.
Right.
Because like they make their own creature. A lot of times you remove that creature in that saga, it's just a 3-mana investment that paid off in no way. Like there's maybe like 1 or 2 you can talk about as far as like giving the proper value. That would there's one that's like a Reanimator spell where you mill both people and you get to cast those cards without for any color pretty much. I can't remember which one that is specifically, but the sagas, I would more times than not save those for later. for like my limited picks.
Yeah, I mean, generally gold cards are gold cards are high risk, high reward early because you're more likely not to play them.
But I think as long as you're playing green or red and like have some kind of treasure investment, you could pretty much go guilt free with most of those gold cards. But it's a very demanding requisite. What do you think, Adam?
I think they're all so. You made a point about about maybe it's worth going for the synergy early and like going for more for that pick one. So maybe it's worth taking these earlier and taking the risk knowing that you can have a strong card. Like if you like imagine starting out giant deck with like Invasion of the Giants. You play it on turn 2, you get to scry, set yourself up, and then you draw a card, and then your next giant's cheaper. So like it's a card like that could really help any game where you cast this on turn 2 in a giant deck. And in turn 4, you get to cast a 6-drop. You're in good shape. Or like the elf one that reanimates an elf.
You
know,
honestly, I think elves is probably going to be one of the weakest archetypes in my opinion. I'm not sure where
exactly. Good. You said that before. I think it just needs too many rares. It's more for constructed.
Yeah. So I probably would avoid green black in that right, as far as limited things.
Absolutely. Yeah. Don't sit down in green blacks hoping to draft elves. I don't think that's a good strategy. You can sit down hoping to draft dwarves, giants, but like
angels.
Yeah, probably not berserkers, probably not elves.
Yeah.
Those are going to be more like you might have things that tie together, but they're not.
Key shapeshifters are going to be
Herald King of Skemfar is really good. Yes, shapeshifters are high value. Cole of the Forge Master. Yeah, any of these gold lately and limited, like all these gold cards kind of define what tribes are about, and they're fantastic cards.
Yeah, like that Planeswalker Nico. It's like a Nico.
Yeah.
If you do that, you have to go hard control. Like he is such a utility card for those decks. Like he's just pumping out those clue tokens, pretty much.
Yeah, you have to protect it.
Something of note: Rakdos control is actually present in the set as well.
Yeah, for sure. Tons of removal.
You play more of like a Tibble deck. Yeah. So I play more of like a Tibble style deck if you're trying to go with that. Like the Tibble's Trickery, the new Planeswalker Artifact Him. Like I feel like in this set especially, if you're gonna try to pick a tribe, pick like a sub-tribe to splash into a potential third color. So man, if everyone's gonna be fighting over all these key tribe cards, you have to
just take changeling tribal. Just take all the changelings. So like this bloodline pretender artifact changeling that grows. This card, that's an awesome tribal card. Wow. Colossal Plow, it seems weird. I don't know what to think of that.
A lot of the equipment seems very anticlimactic, if you ask me. So I think dwarves might be a little more on the constructed play rather than the draft play. But tell me what you think.
Yeah, I don't think you need great equipment. I think that just anything efficient, like the red 1-drop equipment that gives +1/+1 for 1, like something like that can fulfill your requirements, and it probably plays out pretty decently. I think it's just.
So if you try to go dwarf, you want more cheap stuff.
Yeah, real low and aggressive. A lot of maybe you pair it with some of the double spell white cards and cheap burn. Like you play the snow burn spell, even if you're not snow, and cheap equipment, and like the thing that makes 2 dwarves, Definitely runes. So you have like the cheap aggressive stuff, but then instead of like card draw, your card advantage kind of comes from like equipment and the ability to like
Okay.
every creature you have. It's like every turn. Okay, my 2/2's now a 5/3 attack. Grind them out. Grind them out. That's
Now,
in theory anyway.
yeah. So what color do you think, as you've looked at the set, is going to give you the most utility value? Like,
Green, green makes a lot of sense because you get color fixing and changeling. So if you want utility, just take changelings and color fixing, and then the world's your oyster. So like, yeah, green seems smart. Green seems like a good place to be. Green seems pretty strong. You get fights, and then it's hard to say. Just looking at the spoiler, especially because the rares and mythics kind of get in the way of what's going on. White seems pretty good. Honestly, white seems pretty strong too. Just if you want to be aggressive, you have a lot of. Blue seems pretty good. I don't know. It all seems pretty good. But in terms of like just utility and versatility, green seems like a good base.
is it me, or did black kind of take a sidestep from its usual heavy removal pack?
Yeah, I noticed that. You get like the 4-drop one and the conditional dead weight, but
Yeah, for the most
you
part,
get the
it
one.
seems
You
like
get the one on
it's more
top.
reanimator.
Not a ton of.
I feel like red in this set's taken more of our removal packages.
Yeah, there's a lot
More
of
like
removal.
Yeah, it's like red removal / big bombs.
Gold vein
Red's,
pick is
main
cool.
characteristic.
This is an equipment that
What?
makes treasure. That's cool. That's another good one. So you get to make treasure with that. So that's
Yeah, and that's any deck you could use pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh,
Like, so
Raiders
there's a lot of color
cards.
fixing.
It's a crew. It's a ship, a vehicle that makes you find land. That seems cool. Raven
Hey Adam,
wings.
hey Derek.
Hey,
Hey, how's it going, Kai?
I'm doing well. Sorry to join late. I just got off work.
it's cool. Yeah, honestly, was about to wrap up artifacts and lands and shut down the call. But what are you? How you been? I saw that you had a really cool sealed deck.
Oh yeah, that deck was sick.
I
Like
looked at it. Unreal.
Yeah, I wish like every pool would be like that. I didn't even drop a game. It's just so fun to play that deck. Like I would never behind, and turn 2 Geico, turn 3 Drakes. It comes a lot, and I can also copy the Stormcaller to copy my kick into the Royal a few times. This is so good. I mean, this is the definition of a busted deck.
Yeah, I do have to say I really like the way you built it. I think that it's a good deck, and obviously most of the cards were easy to pick, but I think you rounded it out really nicely. Like
Cool.
realizing Shell Shield when you
Oh
have
yeah,
two Roost of Drakes.
yeah, and Might and Might of Narosa,
yeah.
it's busted.
When you have Geckos, you have so many ways to synergize with the shield. You're almost playing constructed at that point.
Yeah.
And then I like the Brute, the 3/3. I think the Brute has just been an overperformer on both sides of the table, and you don't need a 2-drop, and just having a body to round out the curve the best you could. Keep the curve low. You have the
Right.
Stomper at the top with your 3 double face and the cat. Yeah, it just looks really nice.
It's pretty good. But I also ran into some like more average pools, for my challenge and some other more premier events, and I did terribly. Also, I built some decks that's really hard to play with very small number of removals, and it's very hard to win, like to consistently win. And a lot of times the game will go really long. I got timed, or I missed a good attack. Then I missed lethal in the end. So there's a lot of very complex. Like I built a blue red deck with 1 Drake, but I have almost 0 removals, and I really need to use the power level of the card interactions. That makes the game really tough.
So is that more like a sequencing intensive then, Kai?
Exactly.
Or do you think it's just more like interaction intensive?
Both, and you have to make sure like to squeeze out all the values for each interaction when you don't have removal.
Right.
And you have to assign because in those games the role will shift quite a bit. Sometimes you're beat down, sometimes you're the control, and if you miss that and you attack, you're supposed to stay back and block, but you attacked, and then you may end up with losing. Or you're supposed to be aggro, alpha with your team, but you decide to stay back, and then you may lose the game too because the opponent just outdraw you. Or so this is really difficult.
You need to apply the pressure to keep them under. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So have you been looking at the sets of Kaldheim there, Kai?
The what?
Have you looked at Kaldheim at all? Like
oh yeah, I was just looking at it. I just feel like the power level is extremely high.
Yeah, that was my thought, Kai.
Extremely high. Look at the removals. Look at the power level of creatures.
Boasts. I think all the boast creatures could be uncommon in a different set.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
exactly.
looking forward to Foretell.
Foretell
especially
as well,
that
right?
black. Yeah, that black Foretell card, especially in like any kind of instant intensive deck. Because you just foretell them early on, and you play them at whenever you want. Then you could literally have a hand within the hand. Like foretell all those cards, have your hand on the back.
And make your curve really good, right? You never
exactly.
You never miss the turn two, right? You always have something to do on turn two.
Exactly.
I think it's a great mechanic.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like the double face in a different way, in that it smooths your options.
And like how I was talking to Adam, is like I noticed this set, like it's disguised as a mid-range shell, but it's actually control and aggro intensive. Like all your mid-range style decks or tribes, they're too rare intensive and like just very specific pulls. If you want to make a mid-range deck.
Yeah, and, I agree. But that may make the games more high variance, maybe. Like if you have a good pool, you have a busted deck. Like sometimes your play will matter a little bit less.
Yeah, we were saying that for draft, how the best decks will be really good and the worst decks will be poor. Yeah. Maybe it's better being a little more aggressive, taking more risks in the draft.
And I think at least if you're going into pack 2 finally, you need to have like a third color set out. Because if you're fighting over, like if you notice you're fighting over a tribe specifically, you need a backup. And I think the shapeshifter tribe will actually be pulling a lot of heavy duty.
Good point.
We noticed try filling all those slots.
Green has a lot of shapeshifters and fixing. So you can, if pack 1 have a lot of fixing and a lot of shapeshifters, you'll be in good shape.
So probably picking up the dual lands are important.
Right. Yeah, I didn't look at the land. Yeah. That's a good point.
Like
and there's
the snow dual lands and the pathways are going to be very important. However, even more so, there's cards that actually just naturally mana filtrate for you. So those are going to be like some of the high targets I'm expecting.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially treasure. Like there's a treasure sub thing in this.
Right.
And so I think you should never like skip one of those if you get a chance. Whether it's to mess up your opponents, but I think more so like the artifact that produces treasures, I think that's going to be more of like a high variable pick. And what do you guys think?
I agree.
Are you talking about the gold vine pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's okay. There was there was a card that made, what did it make? There was a card that made something on an equipment, and it was like okay. It was pirate. It made treasure.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Wasn't there like a pirate card that made treasure, and it wasn't played too much. But I think equipment is much better in this format. So this is going to be a better pick.
Yeah, because I mean, like the pirates had like the treasure thing, but they couldn't really invest into it. Like you could make mana eventually, but you were mostly working on Rebel and Riches winning, or like trying to
what's the payoff? Creatures. What's the payoff for the treasures?
That's the thing. I don't, beyond the rares, I don't think there really is any. I think it's just
I see.
This fixing.
Yeah, then mostly just for fixing. Then I won't be too high on the
And
pick orders.
acceleration. Yeah.
Yeah. And like that's one reason why I'd be like really adamant on treasure picking. Like just so I could get my plays out. Because like Foretell and Post are a little more mana intensive abilities, right?
Yeah.
Like Foretell is great in a control style deck, but not necessarily great in an aggro deck. So you need to if you can accelerate your mana a little bit, it sets up your plays a lot faster. And something I've also noticed with Kaldheim, this can be a very quick, limited environment in a way of if you're not set up by a certain turn, you're going to lose the entire game.
Yeah, because everything's so high power. Yeah, you can't. That's true now in Magic. Like every set, more and more, that seems the case where every one of these boast cards will snowball. You have to play Magic or you're gonna get crushed.
Yeah, maybe Adam. This reminds me your call last week. Maybe like the cards like Tormenting Voice, will gradually go down value because you will
Right.
never want to cast Tormenting Voice on turn 2, even you pitch up land.
You know what's really interesting, Kai? How you said that? I actually read. I'll find the article. There was actually an article where the guy made that same argument, but not for Tormenting Voice, but for Ponder and Preordain and Brainstorm and Legacy.
Really?
How
Really?
these cards are, not that they're not good cards, but the cost of casting them and the time you spend has never been higher.
Wow.
So and then the argument was, let me try to find it. CFB.
Well, but the consistency it provides is
Yeah, so he argued that you have to use them differently. That you use them now more to. Let me find it. It's pretty.
to like dig answers and stuff. Like
Yeah,
so
I think
you
it
hold
made
the
it
turn
more-
1.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I feel like with cards like Once Upon a Time, like when you get free spells, so like it's a zero cost to you. Spells are gonna take the place within like Preordain and Brainstorm.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, like Once Upon a Time is seen play in every single format.
Until
So-
it gets banned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much what it is. Like if you get too much free value too early in the game, they have to fucking do something about it.
Yep.
But
I'll put a
thinking
link.
Kaldheim especially, like it might be a little too bold to say, but like I feel like if you're not set up by turn 3, like you're probably gonna be way too far behind on your board state.
Yeah.
Basically, he's saying don't want to lose with it in your hands. Actually, you're going to game plan proactively is the most effective strategy. Maybe I was also reading some on Twitter. Maybe it was on Twitter they were talking more because this one's just about Brainstorm. But yeah, point is that so that's definitely a really good point. Like I'm not too eager to cast Season of Spoils.
Interesting.
Right, like 3 mana, not great. So I got to run. If you guys want to hang and chat, I can leave it up. But Draft Sim is open; they have it. So time to start cracking seals. Kai, if you want to put any seals together,
Yeah, already. Actually, I did one today.
If you post it, I'll check it out later.
Sure. I built a blue-green snow deck and splashing red for the Foretell bolt and the 4/2 that come into play deal X damage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
like
those
that
two cards
too.
I think is worthwhile splashing,
Yeah.
and I have the enchantment for fixing, and I have the dual lands to splash red. I think it's pretty interesting deck, and
Sounds nice.
yeah. Okay, I'll take a screenshot and share to
Cool.
see what you guys think.
Now, for like doing the seal
I'll
together
see
and
you
stuff
guys.
like that. Like,
What's that?
like doing like a seal together. Like, I'm only gonna really be able to play. Like, I'll be able to play like this weekend. So like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be most available to do that. So I
Okay.
think I think I have you on Facebook.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Hit me up. Yeah. Hit me up. We can. Do you want to like build a seal deck for each of us and then play against, or you just want to like we together look at the CO pool and see what we can do.
Honestly, I think both might be good. Like
Okay.
I think
Cool.
we should do one against each other first, and then we can build one together.
Okay. Yeah.
Then,
Hit me up. Yep.
Yeah,
Definitely.
what's your time zone, Kai?
I'm in California.
Okay, yeah, I'm in Colorado, so I think you're what, 2 hours behind me?
Colorado is
So
like
that's,
it's your mountain, right? You guys have mountain, so it's 1 hour, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
about
so just
7
1
p.m.
hour.
here.
6:50,
Okay,
right?
cool. So then, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's,
Definitely.
definitely go. All right, cool. I'll hit you up after this, but thank you for your time, guys. Like, it's been pretty fun.
Yeah.
But I gotta get out of here. You guys take it easy, all right?
All right.